Hello everyone and welcome, Irish Warlock here, and welcome to part 4 of our Star Trek Resurgence Let's Play. We'll be picking things up in just a moment. I just want to go through a quick recap of what's happened in the last episode. So, we left Space Dock and are on our way to the Hotari system for our peacekeeping mission. On the way we were to pick up our Federation ambassador, who needed a bit of saving from a storm, and our Federation ambassador, surprisingly, not really surprisingly, turned out to be Spock. Spock informed us of the importance of our mission. We were going there to essentially stop war breaking out between two formerly peaceful species civilizations. The Hotari, whose homeworld we're going to, and the Elidians. I think I remember that's how you pronounce that way. Right. So essentially, the Elidians are the more technologically advanced species, and we're mining dilithium on one of the moons of the Hotari's planet. The Elidians were essentially just providing the essentially resources and knowledge to do the mining, while the Hotari were actually doing the physical mining, the labour themselves. And recently, the Hotari drove the Elidians off the planet. And now the Elidians want to go back in. But we are kind of there to stop that from happening and kind of find a peaceful resolution. Unfortunately, it's also been revealed to us that Starfleet has a vested interest in this mining operation, because the mining operation is for dilithium crystals, which is what powers warp drive and flying through space. And if Starfleet and the Federation doesn't have dilithium crystals, then it's going to be very hard to be Starfleet and the Federation. Jara also has been given kind of a special assignment, which is to kind of work behind the scenes at these negotiations, to kind of like suss everyone out and do her best to kind of help peace procedures going on. While all that was going on, Carter and Edslar were examining Spock's shuttle to see what had went wrong with it, why it stopped working in the storm, and revealed that the essentially warp drive was no longer working. After doing some tests and simulations, we discovered that here in the Hotari sector or system, due to the current storm that's going on, warp drive isn't going to work, so we cannot leave. This is also kind of why the Hotari were able to drive the Elidians away, because the Elidians' more advanced starships aren't working because of the storm. So we're going to jump right in. We are literally on our way down to the planet now. So, and judging by that picture, things are about to get interesting. I've been looking forward to this. I haven't played this in like literally over a week, so I've been kind of itching to get back into it.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solana, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you have come. My name is Tylos Hataris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours. And this is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Elidians.
We're honored to be here.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation. The reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But, either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here. That guy was something.
Let's keep an open mind.
That may be true. But let's keep an open mind going into the negotiations. Hopefully he's just one voice amongst many.
Then let's hope he's the outlier.
The Hotari have invited us as their guests, so we must show them the proper respect.
So arrogant. Oh, assuming show deference means bow like Spock, so that's what we're gonna do. When in doubt, copy Spock.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced.
Am I meant to do something?
This point is well taken.
Should
What
I,
is
like...
the Federation's interest
I
in
think
this
so.
matter?
Oh, that's it.
Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but it's not easy. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She can speak for herself, can she? Then let her. Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable.
Goddamn Cardassians!
Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elydians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elydians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate peace?
I would right the wrong, I would seek peace. I can't speculate. I would seek peace.
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydek. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No. It was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation leader.
Oh, I think I'm gonna go for honesty.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Elidians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Elidian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Elidians?
Why am I being asked?
Only be one or the other, not both.
Jesus. My gut says to Hotari, like it really does. It's their moon.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
And you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Ryan.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Oh yeah, it's good to be back now into this game proper. I saw the developers, Dramatic Labs, put up just the other day that they are working on the patch, and they don't have much information at the moment, but hopefully soon. Okay, so those guys. Okay, talk with these you guys. Yes, I can. So this is Sidran.
Commander,
I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elydians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
I'm not on either side.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
I will keep that in mind.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Elydians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Elydians could even realize their worst nightmare was upon them.
Were the Hotari miners armed during the revolt? I'm just trying to understand how it happened.
If by that you mean armed with centuries of abuse and exploitation at the hands of the Elydians, then yes.
Which doesn't really answer my question.
We had them vastly overwhelmed from the start. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Elydians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
Not going to give either. The fleet is always within reach.
No need to worry. Even in a worst-case scenario, the fleet is always within reach.
But it would probably take them quite some time to get here.
Maybe. Or we might have other ships in the sector.
Of course.
Sigma.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Didn't really get much from him. Ooh, what's this? Water.
Soothing.
Oh, that was it. So yeah, we got Tylus, the minister. Just a Lydian officer. We got more Lydians here with nothing else. They remind me a lot of the Solarians from Mass Effect. I know that they are very different, but just like how kind of tall and gangly they are. Let's talk with the Lydians first, and then we'll finish with herself.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without a Lydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
Dilithium isn't my concern.
Of all my concerns, dilithium
It's
is
not.
not one of them.
Might be Starfleet's, but it's not mine.
I could care less about securing a supply, now or in the future.
I'd be curious to know if the rest of the Federation shares your indifference. Major Sarlet Arminta, Special Attaché, Elydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
You sound skeptical.
You sound skeptical.
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
That's impossible.
The energy readings we've seen are off the charts. There's no way they'd be able to somehow harness it. That sort of technology doesn't even exist.
I know. I felt the same way. But each person told the same story. If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Commander, if I could have a quick word with you.
Of course.
I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
Thank Ambassador Spock.
If anyone deserves thanks, it's Ambassador Spock. No one is more invested in negotiating a peaceful settlement to this conflict than he is.
I'm so glad. We need his help before the situation escalates further than it already has. It's been very trying. I saw you speaking with the Illidian. I'm sure they're painting themselves as the victims.
The Illidians are under the impression the Hotari are somehow the cause of the Ion Storm.
Which I'm sure they attribute to our lack of experience or sheer inferiority. But we are as much the victims of this horrific storm as they are. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I take it they're against a negotiated peace with the Illidians.
Heroes tend to want more of what made them heroic. If it were up to them, they'd wage all-out war and bring ruin upon us all. My fear has been that the Illidians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
They're definitely not afraid of the Federation. I'm going to say the Ion Storm.
Do you think it has something to do with the Ion Storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Lydians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference. Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security.
Ooh.
I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. Made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that?
I don't know. But that's what concerns me. Whatever they're hiding, it can't be good.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Okay, let's find the captain. I'm going to assume he's in here.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Illidians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
It is evident that presently, the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
We need to know more.
Couldn't we slowboat it out of here at impulse speed?
It may come to that, but we don't know how far this warp dead zone extends. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clearer picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
Ooh, do I get to control the shuttle? They're just a docking base on the front. They're usually on the
Setting
back.
up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Yes! Ooh, this is fun. Fly the shuttle to your objective to complete a mission, or to fly forward, L2 to fly back. Right stick to turn, left stick to strafe. The storm will push your shuttle around. Stay focused to maintain your course. Cool. Ooh.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings. We are standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Thank you, Mr. Chovak. We'll be in position shortly.
And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
I want a joyride.
Probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
Chobok's not bad.
Nah, Lieutenant Commander Chovak's not so bad. You know, once you get used to him. And, I've learned a lot working under him.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to work harder. Be a political animal like you. This new first officer coming aboard. This is far enough. This is far enough. Transporting the...
I don't do every single probe. Like, that was a bit fun, but I heard it could be a bit tedious if it's pretty
Westbrook
straightforward.
here. The first probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
Problem?
Don't get me wrong. Things are definitely trending up with Commander Rydek. She's put my ideas into action. And she listened to me when your life was on the line out on the hull.
That sounds like a good thing.
It is. But I'm still trying to figure out if she's right for the job. She didn't go through what the rest of us did. Still got chosen to be number one. Can't tell if she was actually siding with me, or if we just fell on the same side.
Yeah, but she's lucky she didn't go through what we did. You can't hold it against her.
Actually, I think I can, even if I shouldn't.
Test is running. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, on.
Whoa. All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there. With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there. Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. Don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap. He said that about Chobot. Sure.
I'll say thanks for the advice. I won't comment on it.
The advice, Commander. I'll make sure I keep my options open.
I don't need to tell you how to operate. You're already well on your way. You're a capable engineer. You're good in the field. Keep up the good work. Who knows? A solid jack of all departments like you could be Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet one day. Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot. And there are places to go in the enlisted ranks, too.
Admiral Jellicoe, oh, hell.
Of course, if you get an officer's commission, they'll put you on another ship.
I love it. So put me up for promotion. I'm ready for my next challenge.
Well, I think you're going to have to prove that to your boss, Chobot, first. He's the one who has to put you up for consideration. If I were first officer, it would be different.
I can do that.
Then I'll just have to change Commander Chobot's mind. I'll work hard and better. He won't be able to ignore it.
You've got grit. I'll give you that.
Show's bobbing around a bit. I can't tell if that's my controller or is it the game.
Here. This is close enough. Stop the engines.
Also, I love that Jellicoe reference. Jesus.
Deploying the probe. Westbrook to Commander Chobot. We're ready for another sampling of data.
Very good. Running the simulation again. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, on.
There it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Well, what about the scans? Anything?
Here's the readings in relation to our local space. We've got the Resolute, Hotari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Okay. Hello.
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more. Hold up. This is coming from the moon.
A beam that blocks warp travel.
Aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally. I don't know how they're doing it. This is like nothing I've ever seen.
Why would they be doing this? We came here to help these people. And now we're getting hit by some warp-killing weapon?
Now, look here. Current readings of the ion storm.
These concentrations. They line up with the interference pattern. The storm. And this beam. They're coming from the same place.
Carter, Whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger. Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this. One thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano out.
A targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
Here I thought the Illidians would be the problem. The peace talks and warship. This wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
What are the Hotari up to?
I don't know why the Hotari wanted us here, but it wasn't to negotiate.
Clearly, peace is not their intention.
Then what is? Why go through this charade?
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us? Go behind her people's back? It's a fair question, considering.
She's out of... She trusts... Oh, no, wrong...
She
Oh, well.
doesn't like the way Galvin and Sidron have been manipulating the situation. And the Queen. Working with us to go around them isn't the same as betraying her people.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us here, only to make us hostages?
We're hostages.
There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
Given their indifference to the negotiations, and what we now know about this warp-disrupting weapon, it's almost as if they want to start a war. And Sidron was convinced the only thing the Illidians respect is force.
I would say he's right about that. But at least they know when to hold back.
But that does not explain why they would turn their aggressions against us.
I don't think the Illidians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harnessed the energy of the storm.
Harness the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capability.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Illidians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
It's the Dominion.
All the more reason to investigate further.
Be a good twist if it was.
Commander Rydek, sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Hotari. Queen's advisor Tylus has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
Oh, I hope she's okay. I feel real bad if we got her killed or in trouble or something.
Galvin and Sidron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
What the hell is that?
Got it. Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose it wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Can we reconnect?
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
It's hard to tell.
I got her into that mess.
I'm the one who got her into this. If something happens to her, it's my fault.
She's one of the Queen's closest advisors. I'm sure she'll be fine. Assuming the Queen isn't part of this. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
Tyler suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Lydians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We were, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation. However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith, which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof before taking action. Otherwise, it could put us in a difficult position.
If this warp disruption attack isn't enough justification, I don't know what is. We have every right to defend ourselves.
In due time.
I don't want to escalate this without a better idea of what we're getting into.
No, that might have been the wrong choice.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question. And I will handle the Federation.
As I was telling Carter, I want all the data I can get on this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data on the way back from Hotari. Even better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Shovak down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
I didn't like this warp problem when we thought it was some astronomical anomaly. And I like it a hell of a lot less now that we know someone is doing it to us. How does it work? What do we even do about it?
They say we pull these chips and find out.
Took some damage on the way. That ionic interference scored the hull plating. Might be some micro welds. Let's try pulling together.
All right.
3, 2, 1. It won't budge. Gotta be the storm damage. We need to... Welcome back. Any excitement down on the surface?
Excitement? No. Nothing like that.
Hey, can you hand me the EJ7 interlock? From the toolbox.
I don't know what that is.
Not much use for one on a security detail, huh? Carter?
Yeah, I'll get it.
I think she's a bit jealous of... Show off.
Okay, I'll apply pressure while you decouple the panel.
Here, I'll help.
We've got this.
Open up and say ah.
Thanks for the hand. We have to get these isolinear chips down to engineering.
No problem. You really know everything about these ships, don't you? The tools, the systems. Like a walking Starfleet technical manual.
I thought security was the detail to be on. Now all of a sudden you're interested in engineering?
Just the engineer.
Come on, start pulling chips.
Okay, does it Oh, I don't have to do each one. Oh, it's gonna be so tedious. I complain a lot about this game, but I really do like it. Like, the stories and character. Oh. Is that meant to happen, or was that my fault? Oh.
What's this?
Some kind of crystal formation?
Yep.
Whoa. This substance is a quantized spin crystallization of hydrogen, carbon, and lithium. It's emitting tetrametric pulses at an interval of 3.8422 seconds.
Quantized crystallization isn't natural. I mean, it's only theoretical as a means to engineer matter on a subatomic level. What's it doing in there?
Messing with our warp drive. A pick. Well, at least use a glove or something.
Wait. Regulation 364, subsection 9.
What?
Regulation 364, subsection 9 orders that in the case of an unknown foreign substance infiltrating a sealed system, it will be placed in secure confinement before further examination. Retrieve a containment module.
Don't you think we're more equipped to deal with whatever this is?
No. Before anything else, this is a security issue. You don't even know what this is.
Which is why we need to study it.
Once it's contained.
Oh, I'm gonna regret this.
This is another piece of the puzzle we're trying to put together. We should be investigating it.
And you can. In the containment lab. But protocol is protocol. I can't make an exception just for you.
I'm still going to report these crystals to Commander Westbrook when we send the shuttle data.
And I will inform my superiors. I'm taking this just as seriously as you are. But I overheard talk about the warp disruption on the shuttle. Now these crystals? Maybe this situation is more than we can handle with just a science vessel. We could trigger a distress call, get Starfleet to send more ships. Or I could send a message to my old CO on the Adirondack. Get some combat-tested vessels. We shouldn't do this alone.
That sounds like mutiny.
You gotta be more careful. Someone hears that, they could think you're talking mutiny.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can help. Okay, stand back. Get this to the containment lab. We'll get it set up for you. I'll let you know when it's safely confined.
Oh, we'll be there.
Last thing you want is to study this down in main engineering and have it explode next to the warp core. Almost forgot.
Can't have that.
For a second, I thought she'd gone cold on you. Like she might have changed her mind. But I guess this whole situation has her spooked. Maybe she knows more than us? Or it's because this is all happening so fast? But she usually doesn't scare easy.
Oh, she did seem off.
Yeah, there was something a little off about it.
Like that talk about sending a distress call? That was pretty out there. She was probably just thinking out loud. I'm sure she'll come to her senses. This mission has enough complications stacking up.
Oh, I just had a theory,
We'll get through it.
but I'll save it to the end.
You, me, and Miranda too.
Which I think is now, anyway. Yeah, we learned a lot of stuff. So, it's not the storm that can't get us to leave. It's this weird energy weapon, and the Hotari might have either controlled the storm, or created it, or enhanced it or some way. But yeah, it seems those Galden and Sidron, the miners, are definitely up to something anyway. And maybe so Miranda. My theory is, I wonder if she's like Section 31. That would really come in from... That would be really good if they were. I kind of hope she is. But yeah, I'm really glad I sat down and recorded this, and because I've been itching to get back in, and it has just kind of I do want to keep going, but I don't want to make the video too long or cut anything out, so we'll just stop right here. We'll just go through anything that happened. So I think the only people Jara interacted with were Spock and the captain. So Ambassador Spock thought Jara performed well under pressure when she was being questioned by the Hotari Queen. Okay. Captain Salone liked how Jara took responsibility for the danger Tylus might encounter by helping the Federation. Okay, so we seem to be... The captain seems to be liking us a bit more. His picture looks nicer, I think, than the last time I saw him. So, yeah, maybe the whole thing about the pictures looking more positive or negative, depending on their opinion of you, changed, which makes sense. So yeah, so I'm glad I'm kind of pulling everybody back around to being like positive. I didn't interact with any of the others, so yeah. And Carter. Edson knows how Carter shared her suspicion when Miranda returned from Hotari. Or another thing I just thought of. This isn't Miranda. Because we saw Miranda and one of the other security officers go off with one of the Hotari in the background. I wonder if they've been swapped around, that like Miranda and that other officer, because they shared a look on the shuttle as well, if they're still on the planet, and that Miranda who we talked to the end is someone different. Maybe it is the Dominion, maybe they are shapeshifters. Oh god! Miranda noticed Carter was unusually suspicious when she returned from Hotari. Oh god, she's suspicious of us because we're suspicious of her. The kind of Showback agreed with Carter's purely logical approach to work. Oh yeah, no, that's the same. Commander Westbrook enjoyed his conversation with Carter, coming away with the impression he's smart, pragmatic, and hungry for advancement in the ranks. Yeah, I don't know. Can't Carter advance to like he can advance a certain amount. Like he can become chief. Like operations like Chief O'Brien in DS9, but can he advance to ensign and like up the officer ranks? I don't know. Anyway, guys, this, as I said, this is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. What do you think is going on with some of these weird things that are going around Miranda? Is she a changeling? Is she Section 31? My guess would be not that she's a changeling, but that definitely she's been replaced. But I think I'd be more preferring the Section 31 aspect of it. Yeah, because maybe that's why if she's been replaced, that's why she's trying to bring the fleet in to kind of spark a war. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll hopefully have the next part up very soon. I won't let it go as long as I did last time. If you like what you saw, do click a like button. Do leave a comment. If you've got any tips or suggestions or feedback, do let me know. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you all next time.